Hi guys, it's Jamie, and today I wanted to show you a fun little project, really small, quick, short video on ginkgo leaves. So I was visiting a little town called Harmony in Central Coast, California, and somebody was making ginkgo leaves. So I thought, oh, when I get back, after buying one, I get back, I'm going to make some of my own. So this is my results, and I wanted to talk about what you see here. So one of them, this has two glazes on it, this is just one, but the textures are different. Now, normally when I do leaves, I get the original and I press that into clay. It's so much easier if they have really good veins. But ginkgos, their veins are not so pronounced, so it makes it a little bit difficult to try to capture their essence. So this is what I ended up doing, and I don't know if you can really tell. Maybe I'll get a close-up picture of the still better. This one you can barely see lines, and this one the lines are pretty evident. So let me walk you through the process. The first thing I did is I wanted to create raised texture on my leaf. So in this version, I just I cut out my pattern, and then I took a tool and I made the lines in it, and then I just sanded it down a little bit. So, but you can barely see them. So I had a much better result when I created a form for which to make the lines pop. So what I ended up doing is cutting a really thick piece of clay. I have a lot of clay I call my throwaway clay. It's stuff I use for plaster, and I buy it for cheap at my local clay supply place. They call it in-between clay. So, and it's like $5, really cheap. Anyway, but it's a mystery clay. I would never fire it at the studio where I'm at. So I ended up taking my pattern for my ginkgo and putting it on here and just kind of marking the points of it, and then drawing lines like this. And I made them switch out to the as I got to the middle, I switched direction so that I was fanning towards the other way. And you can use that tool. It's a rubber tip tool that I have, or you could use a wooden tool to do this. It works just as well. The only deal with the wooden tool is sometimes you get the clay boogers. Anyway, to cut down on that, you could use rubber tip. So I went and I did this on a piece of clay, and normally when I do things I cast, but this time I decided I'm just going to let it sit out and dry, and it got super hard. And I kind of like the idea of having a temporary mold for some reason. So anyways, let this out overnight and it dried. And so now I have something like this. And so each time I press clay into it, it's going to wear down a little bit more because I didn't fire it. But that's okay. This is just a temporary project, a little whim that I have right now, and I don't want to have another mold to stack in my studio. So anyway, so I have that prepped for the background. And then in order to press in the ginkgo, I took a piece of clay like this, and I just shaped it into a fan of sorts. So I cut it out ahead of time so I could know my shape, and then I just pretty much shaped it to that. This I also did at the same time as I did the fan, and I just let it set up outside overnight. So in the end, if I was using my reclaim clay or something, this is something I could just take back and form into something else, reclaim it. So it's kind of a nice transition thing. So anyway, back to the pattern. So I just took a postcard and I sketched what I thought a ginkgo would look like. After the first pressing, I realized it was a little bit too big. So when I came up with a size that I liked, I ended up just making another pattern but cutting off a little bit more. So now that this is my master pattern. So the way this works is I simply take a slab of clay. I make sure that it has no texture on it, so I use a credit card to smooth it out. And when using this for the first time, make sure you go outside and you just do a green pad on it to make sure you get all the little foam clay boogers off. So I'm going to stick this on here. And check that out. Nice texture. Nice subtle texture. So then I just place my form on it, cut it out. And now I'm ready to press. This is foam that I bought at a postal place, a packing supply place. So I'm going to take my fan and I'm just going to put it here in the middle and press. And voila. To finish it off, I'm going to actually put on a little stem. I find that I did it on this one and I like it much better than just leaving it plain. So I'm going to accentuate it and actually make this one a little bit longer. So all I'm doing is rolling a coil, and then I'm going to cut that coil in half. So now I have like a wishbone or a Y, and then I'm going to score I'm going to slide the Y over the end of this leaf. Then I'm going to gently press together. And then on the back side, I'm just going to use my fingers to join the seam. But on the front side, I want the seam to remain. I am enjoying that look that this little Y is making. So there you have it, Ginkgo leaves. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I'll see you next time.